wonder if she's right about why there's a cover up. You know what I mean? Like if it's really like, or what the whole reason for the cover up is. What are they trying to hide? You know what I mean? Like, I know to her it goes back. She said that it was a civilization basically created by Moors, and that we were like Pangea, one big large continent, which makes sense. But then she also gets into like mud. Well, you would know better than me because I know but I mean, like, I don't know, like I know she gets into Tartaria and mud floods and ancient architecture and all that stuff, and it was interesting for sure. Like I was happy about that.
Yeah.
What do
Well,
your thoughts on her research? Like, what do you feel like?
yeah. Thank you very much for asking, Rob. I'm going to try and speak off the cuff. If you have some farms someplace, separated farms, one farm in one area, one farm in another, and there's animals in all these farms, and each of these groups of animals, they don't really know what's beyond the farm. And that's how the farmers like it. They don't need these animals communicating with each other, comparing notes and saying, hey, wait a second, they're just feeding us so that they can use us to feed themselves. This doesn't sound good at all. So one of the ways the farmers keep the animals, inactive and passive is giving them just what they need and limiting what they know and they understand. I spent the last 30 years talking to children, so sometimes I try to make it sound simple like that. So we have, you had this great civilization here on Earth, and some aliens came by and they're kind of jealous. How come those guys got it so good? And I think that some of these aliens we're talking about, again, I'm listening to people on your show, they only have like 6 chakras. Meanwhile, people like us, beings like us, we have many more. And, they're just jealous. But they do have they're thugs. They have a weapon that could put us in our place. And then all of a sudden, here we are having a good day, a great day, and something bad happens to us. And in order to keep things like that, there has to be an arrangement. And again, you've had people on your show who said, when they signed that, I think it was the Treaty of Greada, one of the main things was that the secret space program remained secret. We're going to keep on harvesting these individuals for our purposes. And, we're going to blank their memories too. We don't need you guys to know about this. You're just our farm animals. It's a pretty disgusting metaphor, but it's still something that, when we have disclosure and everybody learns about this stuff, they're going to want to know what's going on. They're going to ask questions like you just did. And I hope that my answer is a good place to start.